Brahma. In this section, Lord Brahma is saying that he cannot estimate the greatness, the heights and the limits of Lord Krishna. He says, what to speak of me? He says, neither Lord Shiva, nor you Narada, nor I could ascertain the limit of the spiritual happiness. So how can other demigods know? Then what to do? This is what he gives us the recommendation. Let us all offer our respectful obeisances unto their Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnation and activities are chanted by us full of glorification. Gayanti hi asmat adya nayam vindanti tatvena. Though he can hardly be known as he is. So now we will go to the 39th verse. This is the last section of this chapter. So further, Brahmaji is saying, Sāisha adya purusha kalpe kalpe srijati yaja atma atmani atmana atmana sa samyachati pati chaha. Very beautiful. He's saying Saha, that supreme original personality of Godhead Lord Shri Krishna. Esha Adyaha Purushaha. Adya means the original. Govindam Adi. Adi and Adya is the same. Expanding his plenary portion as Mahapurusha, Vishnu. Purusha is the three Purusha avatar, beginning from Mahavishnu. The first incarnation creates the manifested cosmos, but he is unborn. The creation, however, takes place in him, and the material substance and manifestations are all himself. He maintains them for some time and absorbs them into himself again. This philosophy we have understood from Bhagavad Gita. The creation is not different from the creator, that is the Lord. The creation is not different from the Lord. And still he is not in the creation. Can anyone give the example? The creation is not different from the Lord, and still he is not in the creation. Can someone give some example? Yes, बोलिए पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The example, Prabhu, is like jail and the jailer.
No, here please be a little more receptive what Srila Prabhupada is quoting. He says the creation is not different from the Lord, and still he is not in the creation. Yes, Dayāśīl.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sun and sunlight, Prabhuji. Sunlight is the creation, but we cannot say that it is different from the sun, but still it is the sun is different, Prabhuji. Sun is different.
Yes, yes, very much. That is true. Any other example? This basic philosophy has to be very clear. And believe me, it is still not clear. We are still not very clear about it. Priyanka, Ravindra Prabhu is not here.
प्रभु जी
हाँ.
वो बस डिनर करके रेस्ट
अच्छा,
कर ली थी.
I see.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that's okay. No problem. No problem. I'm asking some other examples to make this understanding clearer. Otherwise, it will remain a puzzle. Who is raising the hand from behind? Dayāśīl, from your behind, who is raising the hand? Acha. She wants to speak. The philosophy is clear to her. Yeah. Like every time I go to IRI in the faculty club, there is one young boy who comes. He wants to ask question and he wants to answer all the questions also. Okay. One other example is the pot and the mud. The pot is made of mud and the mud is there in the pot. Isn't it? But the pot is not there in the mud. The mud is there in the pot, but the pot is not there in the mud. Although it is made of the same substance mud. Another example. So, simultaneous oneness and difference. This is to be understood. One moment. Now I lost it. So Prabhupada quotes this very mystical verse. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avasthita. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth is also a form of the Lord called Avyak Murti. Murti means form. But because this impersonal feature is inexplicable to our limited senses, he is the Avyak Murti form. And in that inexplicable form of the Lord, the whole creation is resting. Or in other words, the whole creation is the Lord himself. And the creation is also non-different from him. But simultaneously, he is the original personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, is aloof from the created manifestations. The impersonalist gives stress to the impersonal form of feature of the Lord and does not believe in the original personality of the Lord. But the Vaishnavas accept the original form of the Lord, of whom the impersonal form is merely one of the features. This is the difference. The impersonal and the personal conceptions of the Lord are existing simultaneously, and this fact is clearly described both in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in other Vedic scriptures, inconceivable to human intelligence. The idea must simply be accepted on the authority of the scriptures, and it can only be practically realized by the progress of devotional service unto the Lord. And never, see, Prabhupada is giving the process. It is to be accepted on the authority of the scriptures and practically realized by the progress of devotional service, and never by mental speculation or inductive logic. The impersonalists depend more or less on inductive logic, and therefore they always remain in darkness about the original personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. Their conception of Krishna is not clear, although everything is clearly mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. A poor fund of knowledge cannot comprehend the existence of an original personal form of the Lord when he is expanded in everything. The imperfectness is due more or less to the material conception that a substance distributed widely in parts can no longer exist in the original form. This is a material conception that we have, that if something is distributed, then it becomes exhaust. It becomes diminished. The original personality of Godhead Adya Govinda expands himself as the Mahavishnu incarnations and rests in the causal ocean, which he himself creates. The Brahma Samhita 547 confirms this as follows. Yatkarnava jale bhajati sma yoga nedram ananta jagadanda swaroma kupa Adhar Shakti Avalambya Param Swamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahmaji says in his Brahma Samhita, I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who lies down in the causal ocean in his plenary portion as Mahavishnu. With all the universes generating from the pores of air on his transcendental body, and who accepts the mystical slumber of eternity. So this Mahavishnu is the first incarnation in the creation, and from him all the universes are generated and all material manifestations are produced one after another. So for material creation, Krishna expands as the Purusha avatar. We have studied so far. So many times we have studied. And the first Purusha avatar is Lord Mahavishnu. The causal ocean is created by the Lord as the Mahatattva, as a cloud in the spiritual sky, and is only a part of his different manifestations. The spiritual sky is an expansion of his personal race, and he is the Mahatattva cloud also. He lies down and generates the universe by his breathing. And again, by entering into each universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he creates Brahma, Shiva, and many other demigods for maintenance of the universe. And again, absorbs the whole thing into his person as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.7. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpashaya Punastani Kalpado Visrajami Aham. O son of Kunti, when the kalpa or the duration of the life of Brahma is ended, then all the created manifestations enter into my prakriti or energy. And again, when I desire, the same creation takes place by my personal energy. The conclusion is that these are all but displays of the Lord's inconceivable personal energies, of which no one can have any full information. This point we have already discussed. This is what Brahmaji has already mentioned, that neither Lord Shiva, nor you, nor I, what to speak of any other demigod. What is the verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna himself gave this principle that no one can know him? Where is that verse? That Krishna is himself confirming what Brahmaji is saying. Brahmaji is actually accepting whatever Krishna is already spoken in Bhagavad Gita. Where is the verse that Krishna is saying that neither the demigods nor the sages can ever know me? Not only demigods, even the sages cannot know. Demigods are Sakam Bhaktas. They cannot know. But what about sages? They are Viraktas. They don't have calm in their heart. They also cannot know. Bolo, which verse? Famous verse. Yes, Pradeep?
नामे विदु सुरागनः प्रभावं न महर्ष्य अहं मादिर्हि देवानां महर्षिणां च सर्वसु.
Yes. So, what is the translation? Name Vidu Surguna. Vidu means to know. Name Vidu Surguna. He cannot be known by Surguna, by the host of the demigods. Prabhavam cha Maharshya. His origin cannot be known even by the Maharshya, one of the greatest of the sages. Why? Because Aham Adir Hi Devanam. Because he is the cause, he is the root, he is the foundation of even the demigod. Maharshi Nam cha Sarvasha, an evil of the sages. Krishna has already emphatically declared. This point we have already discussed before. Okay, the next two verses together. Vishuddham Kevalam Jnanam Pratyak Samyak Avasthitam Satyam Purnam Anadi Anantam Nirgunam Nityam Advayam Vishay Vidanti Munaya. Prashantatma Indriya Ashaya Yada Tada Eva Shattarkes Tirodhiyata Vipluta. The personality of Godhead is pure, Vishuddha, being free from all contaminations of material tinges. He is the absolute truth and the embodiment of full and perfect knowledge. He is all pervading, without beginning or end, and without rival. O Narada, O great sage, the great thinkers can know him when completely freed from all material hankering and when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is distorted and the Lord disappears from our sight. So how to know him? How to know the Supreme Lord? It says when one is completely freed from all material hankering and when sheltered by the Lord, then only one can know. Here is an estimation of the Lord apart from his transcendental activities in the temporary material creations. Mayavadi philosophy tries to designate the Lord as contaminated by a material body. When he accepts forms or incarnation, this sort of interpolation is completely denied herein by the explanation that the Lord's position is pure and unalloyed in all circumstances. According to Mayavadi philosophy, the spirit soul, when covered by niches, is absolute truth. But here it is said that the Lord is eternally the symbol of full and perfect knowledge. This is his speciality, perpetual freedom from all material contaminations. This distinguishes the Lord from the individual common living entities who have the aptitude for being subordinated by nations and thus becoming materially designated. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Vijnanam Anandam, full of knowledge and bliss. The conditioned souls are never to be equated with him, because the individual soul have the tendency to become contaminated. Although after liberation, the living entity can become one with and the same quality of existence as the Lord. His very tendency to become contaminated, which the Lord never has, makes the individual living entity different from the Lord. In the Vedas, it is said, Ashuddham Apapavidham. Ashuddham Apapavidham. This is from the Ishopanishad. The individual Atma becomes polluted by sin, but the Lord is never contaminated by sin. The Lord is compared to the powerful sun. The sun is never contaminated by anything infectious because it is so powerful. On the contrary, infected things are sterilized by the rays of the sun. Similarly, the Lord is never contaminated by sins. On the contrary, the sinful living entities become sterilized by contact with the Lord. This means that the Lord is also pervading like the sun. And as such, the word pratyaka is used in this verse. Nothing is excluded from the existence of the expansions of Lord's potentials. The Lord is within everything and the living entities, and He is covering also from the existence of the expansion of the Lord's potency. The Lord is within everything and He is all covering also, without being disturbed by the entities of the individual soul. He is therefore infinite and the living entities are infinitesimal. In the Vedas, it is said that only the Lord exists independently and that all other existence depend upon Him. He is the generating reservoir of everyone's opulence and therefore no one can equal Him in opulence. Being full of all opulence, namely wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Certainly, He is a supreme person, and because He is a person, He has many personal qualities, although He is transcendental to the material modes. We have already discussed the statement, Ittam Bhuta Gunahari. His transcendental qualities are so attractive that even the liberated souls, Atma Ramas, are also attracted by Him. Although possessed of all personal qualities, He is nevertheless omnipotent. Therefore, personally, He has nothing to do, for everything is Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. This suggests a specific spiritual form which can never be experienced by the material senses. He can be seen only when the senses are purified by devotional service. Yam evasya vishnute tena labhyas taseva atma virnute tanum swam. Katha Upanishad 1-23. As such, there are basic differences between the Lord and the living entities in so many aspects. No one can be compared with the Lord as difference between the Lord and the living entity. As the Vedas declare, Ekam eva advitiyam brahma dvetat vaibhayam bhavati. The Lord has no competitor and He has nothing to fear from other beings, nor can anyone be equal to Him. Although He is the root of all other beings, there are basic differences between Him and other beings. Otherwise, there would have been no necessity for the statement in text 38. And no one can know Him 100%. He is Nayam Vidati Tatvena. That no one can fully understand Him is explained in the present verse also. But the qualification for understanding Him is some degree is also mentioned here. Only the Prashantas or the unalloyed devotees of the Lord can know Him to some extent. The reason is that the devotee have no demands in their house. Sorry. The reason is that the devotees have no demand in their lives but to be obedient servants of the Lord, while all others, namely the empiric philosophers, the mystics, and the fruitive workers, all basically have some perfection of life. Some demand, sorry. All basically have some demand, and as such they cannot be pacified. The fruity worker wants reward for his work, the mystics want some perfection of life, and the empiric philosophers want to merge into the existence of God, of Lord, somehow or other. As long as there is a demand for gratification, there is no chance for purification, pacification. On the contrary, by unnecessary dry speculative arguments, the whole matter becomes distorted, and the Lord moves still further away from our understanding. This is the principle. The fruitive worker cannot understand. What is required is devotional service. The dry speculators, however, because of their following the principles of austerity and penance, can have knowledge of the impersonal feature of the Lord to some extent. But there is no chance of their understanding his ultimate form as Govinda, because only the Amalatmanas or the completely sinful persons can accept pure devotional services without, as mentioned by Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam edvandemo vinurmukta jante mam dridhavrata. So in these verses, the detail that is being given is that how his personal form is higher than his in-person form, although both are exhibited simultaneously. Okay. Adyo avatara purusha parasya kala swabhava sadashanmanasya dravyam vikaro guna indriyani virata swarata sthaneshu kaneshu. Karnan Vashai Vishnu is the Mahavishnu. Karna, Karan and Samudra is Arnava, and he is resting, so he is Shai. Karnan Vashai Vishnu is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects. Mind the elements, the material ego, the mode of nature, the senses, universal form of Lord. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. So, Mahavishnu or Karnan Vashai Vishnu already includes the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. From him only the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu manifests. That the material creation is not permanent has been discussed many times here and before. The material creation is but a temporary exhibition of the material energy of the Almighty God. This material manifestation is necessary to give a transcendental, necessary to give a chance to the conditioned souls who are unwilling to associate with the Lord in the relationship of loving transcendental service. Such unwilling conditioned souls are not allowed to enter into the liberated life of spiritual existence. For that heart, they are not willing to serve. Instead, they want to enjoy themselves as imitation God. The living entities are constitutionally, eternally servitors of the Lord. But some of them because of misusing their independence, do not wish to serve. Therefore, they are allowed to enjoy the material nature which is called Maya. Or they think or illusion. In other, it is called illusion because the living being under the clutches of Maya are not factually enjoyers. Although they think that they are being illusioned by Maya, such illusion living entities are given a chance at intervals to rectify their perverted mentality of becoming false masters. Such illusion living entities are given a chance at intervals to rectify their perverted mentality of becoming false masters of the material nature, and they are imparted lessons from the Vedas about their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Vedeshta sarver ahameva vedya. 15.15 Bhagavad Gita. So the temporary creation of the material manifestation is an exhibition of the material energy of the Lord. And to manage the whole show, the Supreme Lord incarnates himself as the Karna Vashayu Vishnu. Just as a magistrate is deputed by the government to manage affairs temporarily. This Karna Vashayu Vishnu causes the manifestations of the material creation by looking over his material energy. Sāci-Sutā. In the first canto of this book, we have already discussed these manifestations to some extent in the explanation of the verse beginning, Jagre Paurusham Rupam 131. The duration of the illusionary play of material creation is called Kalpa. And we have already discussed the creations taking place in a kalp after kalp. While the potent activities of Karnodakshai Vishnu, the complete ingredients of creation, namely time, space, cause, result, mind, the gross and the subtle elements, and their interaction modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, and then the senses and their reservoir sources, the gigantic universal form, the second incarnation, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the senses and their resources, source. By the potent activities of Karnodakshaya Vishnu, the complete ingredients of creation, namely time, space, cause, result, mind, and grain, and subtle element, there are interaction modes. The second incarnation, Karnodakshaya Vishnu, and all living beings, both moving and standing, which come are but manifestation of the Supreme Lord's potencies. Nothing is independent of the control element of the creation. Sorry. Nothing is independent of the control of the Supreme Being. The first incarnation in the material creation called Karnarnavashai Vishnu, or it is the same Mahavishnu, or it is also called the Karnodakshai Vishnu, is the plenary part of the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna as described in the Brahma Samhita 5.48. Yasek nivasati nasek nivasati kalam athavalambho jivanti loma vilaja jagadandhanatha Vishnur mahan sahiyasya kalavidesha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. All the near-world universes are maintained only during the varying period of Mahavishnu or Karnavashai Vishnu, who is only a primary portion of Govinda, the original personality of Lord Krishna. So I am stopping here. Only few verses are left. 43 to 45 and one more verse. Good tomorrow. So these are the sections of prayers where he is describing that the Krishna is the primeval cause, he is the cause of all causes. His expansion is Mahavishnu, and from Mahavishnu comes the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and the process of creation takes place. Hare Krishna. Any question, discussion? Okay, I'm stopping here. We'll continue tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Tomorrow is Saturday. Dayāśīl? Okay, I'll give you a write-up tomorrow. I'm completely exhausted today. So we did the opening of the renewed Govardhan Snacks Kitchen. And the one responsibility is over, so I'm a little relieved. But more important is to put focus in Adhyan. So far, 19 Srimad Bhagavatam is done. Today, Nilambar Prabhu added 4. So, there's become 19. 2 more to go. Purushottam, find one, yaar. एक तो करो. किसी को भी पकड़ो. And from your side, 2 are more required. Please help. Today I have given the dispatch of your book, Manoram Prabhu. Tomorrow you will dispatch it. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glory to the Hare Krishna.